Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of the Footy Fans podcast. As always, Andrew, Santo, and Joe coming at you from my basement. What's going on?
Hey, everybody.
Man, when you guys came here today, I said this is like probably one of the most anticipated / exciting weeks to talk about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Not just because of, the results and what happened on the table, but because mostly what happened after.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors and what happened to some managers.
And the amount of goals that we had.
Yeah. And goals. Just crazy goals this weekend.
Goal rush was one to watch this week.
That 10 o'clock schedule was pretty heavy on the goals. As everyone knows, this is an English Premier League podcast, but off the bat, give a big shout out to the Canadian men's national team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their big accomplishment this week against Mexico, playing in Edmonton in the freezing cold. I mean, on paper, like Mexico still is a better team, but to pull that result away at home with the advantage of being minus 12 or whatever it was,
and shell shocking the Mexicans, the snow on the side.
Every player from Mexico was like head to toe geared up, and there's Canadian players wearing just short sleeves, no gloves. I'm like, you guys are nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't even do that. Like, yeah, it gets a little bit of rain outside. I need gloves on.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Very, very strategic play, but it was true. I mean, someone told me that if they go to Mexico, they're playing 2:00 in the afternoon in 110 degree heat.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's true. Still very tough. Yeah, so, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, so our Canadian boys, man, they're finished, or right now they're currently first place in the CONCACAF qualifiers for the World Cup. First place heading into the new year. There's no more games until January, I believe, or maybe February.
Mm-hmm.
So heading into the break, being top of the table there, or top of the the group. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Like our chances right now.
Yeah,
I'm honestly more confident Canada's going to make it to the World Cup than Italy at the moment.
Bro,
to be totally honest.
Yeah, get into that.
I cannot believe what they tied for their last 5 games in the group.
Yep,
brutal. And only 3 teams now in that get those extra spots.
And it's games that they should have won too against countries that don't really stack up at all.
And like missing PKs in the 95th minute when it's 1-1.
Yeah, Jorginho of all people, came through big in the Euro Cup, and then
I can't deal. It's gonna be so sour. It happened before. They won the World Cup and then just tanked the next World Cup. Now they won Euros. Might not even make this World Cup.
Yeah,
I mean, don't put that evil on me, Joe. Don't.
It's just what it is. They're just at the spot that they're at.
But history shows that we make it hard for ourselves.
As hard as possible.
Do. Yeah. Like we never have the easiest path. So if we were to qualify through the playoff and get put into a group with like Germany and France or something, because it always seems like Italy has a group of death, no matter what tournament it is. Mm-hmm. We either have Germany in our group, or we have Portugal, or we have
except that World
Spain
Cup where we didn't
something.
get out of the group and we had like New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand.
Yeah. If it's too easy in a group,
if it's too easy, then we won't get through. Obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, that was. I can't even get into that. That was a long time ago. Let's just put it that way. I don't know.
Playing against firefighters.
Just back to the Canadian squad. I thought, it would be cool to watch them play in a few years when we actually host a World Cup in North America. But if they can qualify for Qatar based on their own merit, that's something that we haven't seen in our lifetime.
Yeah,
as Canadians, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully we're transitioning out of just being known as the hockey country or the hockey capital of the world, and maybe we're starting to finally hold our own in the world's game, and we can say, hey, we're not just here for soccer, or not just here for hockey, or lacrosse, or curling. We can play soccer too.
Play soccer. Yeah, it's gonna be really exciting to see, and hopefully they can pull it off. I think if they get a good result against the U.S.,
that'd be huge.
That would be absolutely
massive.
Like in the new year, they're undefeated. I think we're the only undefeated side right now.
Yep. 4-4.
Yeah. So even if we do drop one game, but we can tie a couple and like you squeak out some against Panama, I don't expect. If we do beat the U.S., that'd be crazy, because the game will be back at home, probably at BMO Field, because we already played them in Nashville, I believe.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to listen to that, we actually did a live reaction podcast to that game a few episodes ago. So look back on that one.
Yeah.
But if they can, maybe stay undefeated still, or drop one game, but get a squeaky win against Panama, Costa Rica, Jamaica, some of the teams that they did draw earlier in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually qualify with games in hand.
Yeah,
I think it's top 3 go through.
Top 3
and then the fourth place team goes into like a completely separate playoff. So I mean, being first, we have some room to work with.
Yeah,
they should we have the U.S. What, they got to play Honduras next? Like Honduras, then the U.S. Who knows? Then El Salvador, Costa Rica, and then Panama is going to be the big game. Last one. We should win at least 3 of those games.
Yeah, none of those teams scare me.
Except for the U.S. and Panama.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, even Panama.
We should I would consider at this point. I would consider it like a very big disappointment if we don't qualify. Even if we go to the playoff round, I would still consider it. Kind of disappointing. We're like in a very, very good spot. Just gotta win. We gotta win those games that we should win. Hopefully, not pull in Italy and just tie the rest of our games.
But it feels nice to have like expectations though.
Yeah.
Because before, when it's come to CONCACAF or Gold Cup, it's like I don't expect anything.
Yeah.
No.
So we finished like
It's
ninth.
like, oh wow, we made the quarters. Oh, we didn't get knocked out first round. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like we're starting to expect to be there and to hang around.
Yeah.
So if we can do that, man, it's going to change my mindset, I think, on the Canadian game
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Heading to England now. Big game on the weekend was United and Watford with definitely the biggest implication afterwards.
Yeah.
Ole Gunnar Solskjær finally being sacked
Yeah.
from the Man United gig. I mean, we saw this coming.
I'm confused why it took so long. And I heard someone say like, who are they going to get? I already saw Zidane rejected the offer. There was like you even said Luis Enrique possibly going. He's already said like no. So
It's not a very enticing job right now.
no. I did hear potentially Pochettino coming back from France, but it's just why did they beat the horse to the ground and then keep it there for a while and just wait? Obviously he's not there's no chance he was ever going to win any titles with United based on who else is in the league and who else is managing other teams. And so very strange.
Not saying Antonio Conte is like a savior, because I mean his stint at Tottenham is obviously very early, and like we don't know how he's going to perform there, but he was probably like one of the most talked about managers on the market that was available, and United could have snatched him up last month.
Yeah,
before the Tottenham gig even became available. I don't know if that was like tactical. I don't know if they were waiting for somebody else. Maybe they had someone else in the weeds and they were trying to wait to see if they were going to leave somewhere or go somewhere. But I mean, that kind of blew up in their face, because I think Antonio Conte would be a perfect manager for United.
Yeah.
Like, I think he would have been able to just settle them down, establish a defensive prowess that they haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And I think we said before how United's game might suit like a counterattacking strategy. And Antonio Conte pulled that off last year with Inter, like no one else has seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And he was able to bring the Scudetto to Inter. So I think he would have been a great manager for United. Obviously, that ship has sailed. But yeah, I mean, I've seen other names like Ronald Koeman being floated around too for the United job. Like you said, Pochettino and Enrique. Who knows at this point?
Yeah. No, I obviously Conte would have been ideal, which is why I'm shocked, when Tottenham snatched him up. It's like that was Man U's chance.
Yeah.
And they kind of squandered that one.
Yeah, and I think, that would have made a really big difference, because Conte is one of those people we've talked about where he kind of levels with Tuchel, Klopp, and Guardiola as, one of the top managers in the world, where, Ole, his credentials really don't match up to any of them. So I'm curious who they're going to get. I think it's going to be really tough because, everyone's really taken right now. And poor Carrick, I feel like he's just been the guy who's kind of slugged through with Man U all these years when they've had all these failures. And he's been on the team when they were super successful. So, he's got a lot to carry until they figure out what they're going to do.
He's kind of like the constant.
He is the constant at Man U.
Yeah.
And I thought Ole might kind of be like that too because he obviously had the good times. He left just when the bad times were kicking in.
Yeah.
Like just when Alex Ferguson was departing.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe, having the prowess of knowing how to win and being around like a winning culture, he would have brought that to the side as well. But it's a different game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't mean to say that like if Sir Alex Ferguson came back, he wouldn't be successful because I think just his pedigree overall, I think he's a player manager. And then we said it before, tactics are one thing, but at the end of the day, it's the players that go on the field and like you can't control if, Ronaldo hits one off the post or he puts it in far post.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't control that. That's on the players. But I think to be able to control the players' mentality and like how to coach them and how to deal with them on a day-to-day basis, so Alex Ferguson was a mastermind at that. Pep, I think, is both dual threat.
Yeah,
he's a tactician and he's a great player manager. Even Jose Mourinho at times, yeah, he butted heads with a lot of players, but he also knew how to get the best out of players.
Yeah.
So I think Ole might have came in with it saying like, "Oh wow, we have like a really good team. I know how to win. I was coached under the best coach of all time." Lo and behold, he gets there and he just can't manage the players.
Yeah.
And their personalities and how they play. And he tried different things. He's tried different formations. He's tried different players in different spots. And just to get into the game today, I think it was one of the more disorganized games I've seen United play.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very much
there
so.
was just,
It was just so strange. There's no tactics. Like you say all the time.
Wayward passing and like just
Yeah.
no positioning. It was brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very, very bad. I mean, Maguire, sent off with a red card. And, Watford was just taking him to them. And like this was, and I've heard other people say this too, this is worse, I think, than the Liverpool and Man City game. I mean, Man City was 2-0, but they still outplayed Man U handedly. Liverpool, I mean, scoreline speaks for itself. But those are two title contending teams with the players that they have. This is Watford, struggling in the EPL right now.
They've already fired a manager this year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they just handed it to Man U. And that's when you know that you need a really big overhaul. Firing your manager, yeah, I mean, I do think it was always time to go, but I think they still got a lot of work to do. Otherwise, they're going to have this revolving door of managers at Man U for forever.
I think more than likely that's going to be the issue because they should have done this sometime last year when they realized Ole can't win us titles. But my one friend at work keeps saying he's like, Man U, he feels is no longer in the business of winning titles. They're in the business of like, oh, let's get these deals done in the Middle East so we can sell more like Coca-Cola bottles with the Man U logo on them.
It's a business.
And they've just like tossed out, if they really, really cared, like why was Ole still here? Like it took a thrashing by Watford to do it. Like I said, probably last, when they could have swiped up anyone. Like I think it was last year when there was, I don't even know how many managers available, like Allegri and whoever else, and they just didn't get any of them because they were like romantic about Ole, I guess.
Well, I think it's because they found their guy.
They
will just
thought
not their guy for success, but their guy for just listening to what they say.
Yeah.
And Ole was a yes man.
Yeah.
He had no power. He had no authority. We've said it before. As a manager, you have to have control of your team. Mm-hmm. Like it's the whole Moneyball scenario that we brought up last time.
Mm-hmm.
If you have someone behind you pulling the strings and you can't control your team, then you're just lost. And I think with United's case, the brass ahead of Ole probably said like, we're making a shit ton of money. Fans are back. We just signed Ronaldo. Jersey sales are through the roof. Just get out there and just play. Just go ahead and play. And Ole probably wants to win.
Yeah,
that's like we said, he's from a winning culture. All he knows is winning. But he was never given the reins to make the team he wanted to make. Mm-hmm. Like we said before about the Sancho signing. That might not have been Solskjaer's call.
Yeah, probably wasn't.
He probably said, "Oh, we actually really, really need a defensive midfielder." Like,
yeah, obviously,
like this 80 mil could be spent elsewhere that we actually need to fill a position.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Yeah, but Sancho, man, like the fans want him."
Yeah,
guy doesn't even play.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, he played today or yesterday and
Yeah.
didn't really do too much. Second half, he had a good showing, but
yeah.
I mean, it's just, I think he was a yes man for the club. I think he, would just, he wouldn't put up a fight or put up a fuss if someone told him to do certain things, and he was just there as the face of the club.
Yeah.
And that's not the way to be successful. And, that's got to be degrading as a manager, too. Because, again, as a manager, you want to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you become a manager. You become passionate about the game. He went from being a player that won to wanting to be a manager that wins. And he just wasn't able to use his full expertise in the game the way he wanted to.
Right. Yeah, that's totally true. I mean, hopefully whoever they bring in next is actually going to be able to do that. But, I think it's no secret that there's ownership issues at Manchester United, just given all the protests from the fans. So I don't think there's going to be any ownership change in the foreseeable future, just because of the amount of money they're making and just the value of the club. So it's going to be a very interesting time for Man U to see what happens. Mm-hmm. Because if it's tough, right? Like I said, at the end of the day, it's a business. You're making tons of money as owners of Manchester United. And, if winning games is secondary, you have this really weird relationship where you're not really winning games, but you're making enough money to still hold a really big value for the team. So it's what do you do?
Yeah. And I feel like that had to have been the issue, because it got to the point where just so overdue with all, he had to get crushed 3 times this year. And then it's hey, no, now we got to let you go. It's oh, well, who do we get? It's just it almost feels like it's secondary what's going on the pitch. It's so strange.
But what also frustrates me is that this didn't come out of nowhere, because their last run of games, even at the end of last year and the beginning of this year, they weren't very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like they were killing it, and they've been top 5, but there's such a disconnect between the top 5, right?
Mm-hmm. Like
we said before, there's basically a 3-horse race this season. West Ham's put up a pretty good showing, and they've kind of been able to hang around a little bit tighter to the top 3. But when you look at the actual top 5, top 6, although the points might be somewhat close, because none of the top 3 or top 4 teams haven't played each other yet.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they have, it's been 1 or 2 games. So between the top 6, they're beating up on lower ranked teams.
Yeah.
When they actually face off against each other, you really see the disconnect between the top 3.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll put West Ham in that mix, even though they lost this weekend. But they're still a quality side. You can't consider United to be a contending team, and they haven't had that pedigree in maybe 2 seasons, under Ole at least.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's not like they were doing so well that they're oh yeah, we're going to win with Ole. We're going to do really, really well. They were underperforming since last season.
Yeah.
In almost all competitions. So the fact that it took, Joe said, a thrashing of, against Man City, Liverpool, and now Watford of all teams, this easily could have been done last season.
Yeah.
Get it done in the off season. Give a manager a fresh season, a fresh chance to, put a new face on the side, get some new players that actually make an impact. But I guess the Glazers just love what they love, and that's money.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to keep stay in the green,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what's next for Man U. You got to feel for all the big Man U fans out there. Especially, even in our lifetime. I mean, they've gone from the one of the highest performing teams ever in European football to now, which is the most popular, best club that is performing the worst.
Yeah, if someone new comes in, like you said, I hear, who is it, Michael Owen and whoever else.
Scholesy?
Always talk about, it's like McTominay and Fred are your anchor. There's no, and we go back to the Sancho issue, they needed someone so bad to just come in who's a rock star center midfielder, and they just did not get him. Now they have all these guys who can attack, but no, I think on some level their D needs an overhaul too. But I think one place to start, and I guess we'll see like where this board's mindset at. If they got a decent manager, it's like, I need a center defensive midfielder like yesterday.
Yeah.
And we have to get a good one. And, we'll see if they actually follow through, and then, or if they just go out and sign like, I don't know, like Danny Alves or some weird thing because he wants to. Well, he just actually went back to Barcelona. Or like if they go out and sign like
bring back the corpse of like Javier Mascherano.
Yeah, or like exactly.
Get PK.
Just like the weirdest signing ever. If they do that, then we're probably gonna start seeing like massive protests.
It's almost like how we talk with Arsenal, how they just need a person to control the game, and they just need like one or two players that can just shore up the midfield and like just take control. Because I don't think I've been a Harry Maguire, hater. Let's just call it that for a while now. Like I don't think his big money move from Leicester was like all that warranted. I don't think he was that great of a player. Like he wasn't monumental in helping Leicester win the title. I don't think. Was he even there for the title?
No,
he wasn't even there for the title. So what am I talking about?
That was days of
thinking
Morgan.
What's
and
Morgan?
Huth, the big
Huth. So he wasn't even there.
No, he wasn't there.
So I don't see him as a quote unquote captain or like leader of the team. I think they need, again, I mean, I can't pick a player out of a hat right now, but they need someone to take control, like we said with Arsenal. They're one or two players away from being a pretty good side.
Yeah.
Because they have a great mix and depth of youth and veteran players and up and coming players. I mean, like the Emil, what's his name? What's his name now? Smith Rowe. Emil Smith Rowe has been like an emerging player now for the last couple of weeks, and he's getting a lot of notice and a lot of notoriety. And I think from United's standpoint, they just have no one to show leadership.
No, it's very, very individual. Like we said a lot of times, just very all over the place. And they just need really good structure. And I made the point where with the caliber of players they have, if they get someone to just come in and organize a team, I think they can be really dangerous because they have so much potential, and I'm really hoping they can turn it around because it's like you've said it a lot of times as well. The Premier League is better when the best teams are performing well. No one likes to see Man U crash and burn like this. So we'll see.
All right, good with Man U talk.
We're good. Yeah, and good luck to Ole wherever he ends up next, and wish him all the best in his future career.
Yeah, maybe he'll head back to the team he was at before. What do they call him, Moda or something? I think they call him Moda.
Yeah,
Norwegian side.
Okay.
I think he started his career there, and then went to United, and then he returned there, and then managed there. Came back to United again. So
yeah,
we'll see if they're available or not. Maybe we'll just hop back into that. Before we get into the Chelsea and Leicester match, just want to let our footy fans know that we have a Instagram account. You guys can follow us there at Footy Fans Podcast. There, we'll post new breaking news about, managers being sacked, new hires, post results based on the season. Also, you'll be able to see when we drop our latest podcast and any news from us on the Footy Fans side. So that's Footy Fans Podcast on Instagram. As always, we have the Twitter accounts at footy_fans, PHANS. And for all those YouTube fans, we also have our audio version of the podcast posted up on YouTube, so you guys can search Footy Fans there as well for the YouTube audio version. Chelsea Leicester 3-0 Chelsea. They just kind of keep rolling.
Yeah, they're getting the results without Lukaku, and they're still sitting top of the table. 9-2-1. You have a very, very impressive goal differential with plus 26.
That's crazy.
And very, very impressive. And yeah, they're still rolling. So they're going to be right up there. And I think if they can get through Christmas with a good string of results, it's going to be like extra competitive as we get into the new year. I personally still think Man City are favorites. But they got to get those results against Chelsea. I mean, Tuchel's had Guardiola's number. how many times?
Yeah,
since he's
seriously.
been there. You know, he absolutely squandered his Champions League dreams with the year that he was the best chance that they could have.
Yeah.
You know, they were on a roll at Champions League, just, you know, crushing the competition and going to play Chelsea, who they've handily beat many times before Tuchel came, and now he's not getting the results against them.
When Tuchel arrived, I was skeptical, I guess, just because I haven't been tracking his career. Like, obviously he was successful at Dortmund and PSG clearly, but when he came to Chelsea, I wasn't totally sure what he was going to bring to the side. And the first, you know, few matches or few weeks into his tenure at Chelsea, I noticed that he was taking more initiative on defense, which, I mean, Chelsea kind of has always prided themselves on defense, I think, with the likes of, you know, Cahill and John Terry, and even back to the days of like Ashley Cole back there, and Ricardo Carvalho, like the guys that I grew up starting to watch. They always had a really, really solid defense. But
Ivanovic,
yeah. I have my
reservations with him.
Yeah, sometimes. But he's obviously quality. He was really good, and he was part of, you know, a Champions League winning side and many Premiership winning sides. But in more recent years, and especially under the Lampard reign, their defense was never really that like solidified. Like, they weren't scary as defenders, and that has something to do with Kepa also being the goalkeeper at the time. I mean, Mendy has been just crazy since he's been there. Yeah, like his clean sheet run and the amount that he's been able to rack up since he's been there at Chelsea, plus obviously the goal differential that Chelsea's showing now, plus 26. Has, you know, huge implications, or has huge, you know, they rely obviously on the defense to produce those numbers, but also just Mendy being in net is huge. But back to Tuchel, I think when he first arrived, you know, Chelsea were winning games like 1-0. And I was like, okay, I've seen this before with Mourinho. And it comes back to bite you in the ass sometimes, where you can't always win a game 1-0. You can't score a goal in the 25th minute and sit back and relax. Yeah. And the first few games with Tuchel, that's kind of what was happening. But I don't think that was based on the fact that was Tuchel's strategy. I think it's just the players weren't playing that well, like the attacking players. So, like, I don't think they had such an attacking prowess where they can go out there and score 3 or 4 goals and win a game 4-0 or win a game 4-1 or something. But now we're starting to see that. Yeah. I mean, they're getting goals from outside sources. Like Reece James has been putting a couple in this year. Ben Chilwell, goals from Rudiger. Their wingers like Pulisic finally pitched in with a goal this game. It's his first in I don't know how long.
Yeah, it's been a while for him.
Actually, first game of the season against Crystal Palace back in August.
Yeah,
his first Premier League goal. So that's huge. And these are all games without Werner and Lukaku. Yeah. And obviously, you want to have at least one of those guys in your side at all times. Lukaku.
Maybe one or I was going to say one more than the other.
Yeah. You obviously want to have them there, but they're showing that they can score goals without them. And I'm not saying that Chelsea doesn't need those players, because obviously having Lukaku on your side, 10 times out of 10 is better than not having him there. Yeah. But under Tuchel, I just thought that he was going to sacrifice maybe the attacking strategy of the game for defense to try and keep that clean sheet record. But this season, we're seeing it where they can do both. Yeah. And I mean, those 30 goals 7 of those came against Norwich. So that's kind of an outlier.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe there should be more around like the 25 range like that Man City has. But to have a goal differential of 26 this point of the season, almost the halfway point of the season, 30 goals 4 against. Yeah. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that might be like a historic differential for this point of the season, almost at the Christmas break.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, they're getting goals from everywhere. Like Reece James, I think he's just really stepped up last several weeks. And that's key, right? You need to have multiple people being able to convert for your team. Otherwise, you're way too heavily reliant on those handful of players. Then you run into a situation where you're just a handful of injuries or 1 or 2 injuries away from falling apart and then dropping in the table. So that's why I have been really impressed with Chelsea. I think if they can pick up some more key signings, I think to just shore up some of their weaknesses. I think it'll still really go a long way for them. I don't know if they're ever going to get to the caliber where they can control games like Man City does. I just don't really see them having, one, just the tactical play, and just the way Tuchel manages. It's completely different than Guardiola. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be one of those teams that's, I would say, the caliber of Man City, unless they pick up some really good signings and Tuchel just really takes off. I think them winning Champions League was just the fact that Tuchel just had Guardiola's number, but I would still put Man City above them.
I would say so too. Like, made a point here. Like, I don't think Chelsea can go the whole season without Werner and Lukaku and end up winning. I think that'll show when they play a really, really good side. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I do agree. I think City are maybe just slight favorites. I know they're in second right now. I would put just the way they've been playing last few games. Like, we're seeing them just like it's not even close.
Yeah,
with the games they're playing. I know, especially against Man U, but we'll see. It's still really early to say. It really could go either way. Like, something major could happen at any point in the season, and but it's obviously down to those three. I would still put my money on City though.
Well, Santo, you said that if they in the transfer market can get some more players to shore up some weaknesses. What do you think of weaknesses with Chelsea?
Well, I think particularly in the middle of the park, they have really quality players there. I don't know if they have the type of, they don't really have like a De Bruyne in their side who's arguably one of the best players in the world. I think all their players are just very, very good. They don't have any world, there's the bar. There's Ronaldo and Messi, and then you got, the likes of De Bruyne, Van Dijk, those types of players. I don't see any midfielder type playing that's in that second tier that's on Chelsea. And I think that's what they could really use, kind of like David Silva when he was in his prime. That's just, that's next level creative type thing. That I think would go a long way, and work off Lukaku. I think that would be very, very dangerous for them.
With Chelsea, they are different than City in that sense, where I think City relies heavily on their central midfielders, because the way that Pep plays, no one really has a set position, right? No. Even if you're a center mid or playing three across or something, like a left wing or left mid, a center mid and a right mid, they're shifting throughout the game. That's how they play with Man City. But I think as Chelsea, they keep their triangle in the middle, whether it be Jorginho or Kovacic and N'Golo Conte. They'll kind of keep that core there, and they rely on their attacking midfielders to do all the playmaking. So I don't think they necessarily have to have a player like De Bruyne, because they have such creativity between Havertz and Mason Mount and Pulisic when he's there. And obviously these guys don't have the pedigree that Man City does have. They're super young.
Yeah.
We have to forget that too. City's players are not crazy young anymore.
Right. Yeah. They're all aged
Foden's young, I guess. But I mean, players like Bernardo Silva is getting up there a little bit. Sterling's getting up there a little bit.
Yeah. Mara's just turned 30, right?
Yeah. So I think if you give, players like the likes of, Mount or Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi is 21, 22.
Right.
You give these guys 3 years in the league playing with a top manager, if Tuchel does stay there and he can solidify the team as a top contender for a couple seasons and get more, deep in competitions, and obviously if they can win a couple of Premier Leagues, if you see them in 3 or 4 years, these guys might be among the names of De Bruyne.
Yeah.
And, I don't know who else, I'm not saying Xavi and Iniesta, that was some crazy shit.
that was something else.
You know what I'm saying? If they can kind of get up to that level if they just have more time to develop and to grow. And we've obviously seen them make, leaps and bounds. Mount and Hudson-Odoi were not household name players 2
Mhm.
seasons ago, and now they're playing for England in like World Cup or in European Cups and like World Cup qualifiers and stuff. So Reece James too. Like I think they just are hitting their peaks and strides at different times, and everyone on City are like established players already. Where Chelsea's like in a weird mix where they're growing, they're developing, and they're being successful all at the same time.
Yeah, very unique situation.
So it's a very weird, it's a weird situation to be in because even like when Lampard was there, they overachieved their first season with Lampard, big time. And I mean, that's obviously a positive. Like I think the players developed quicker than what they thought, and they were more successful than what they thought they were going to be. But now they're just trying to be more cohesive and be consistent, which Chelsea that was their huge downfall last season. They had a run of like 6 games where they go 5-1. And then they have another 6 games where they go 3-3.
Yeah.
And then they go 2-4 or something, and they were just dropping points left and right. So to be able to be this consistent with the players that they do have, and yeah, I would obviously take another world-class player in the transfer market. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I wouldn't try and shake up the squad enough that it's going to screw up some cohesiveness that's going on right now. Like they're doing all this without Werner and Lukaku being there for over a month.
Yeah.
Like they're obviously your go-to players. Like Lukaku, he was brought in to be a goal scorer, and when he first arrived, the first 2 months, that's all he was doing was scoring goals. He kind of got into a slide. He gets injured, so even when he comes back, it's still going to be a bit of a growing pain, I think. And I'm not saying he's going to snap his fingers and put in 2 against whoever he plays against right away.
Yeah,
but if they can start playing well again when he comes back, probably. I don't think he'll be there for Champions League against Juve this week, but maybe even next week against United. That's Chelsea's next Premier League game. Lukaku might be in that one, which would be kind of funny if he makes his like return against United and puts in a couple.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I think they'll just have to, work at it a little bit longer and just be a more full team and be a more consistent team like Man City has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think City will have a pretty decent edge if they get a good number 9 in January.
If Pep wants one.
I think he does. They'll need one. They'll need one eventually.
Do you actually think he wants one?
Huh?
Do you think he... Well, I shouldn't say that. Do you think he really wants one that bad?
I think he would like the option to have one. I think in some scenarios, I don't know if he necessarily wants to play a false 9 literally every single game. So... obviously, because in the event, if he wants to play with a solid number 9 striker, I guess he could play Jesus, but, Jesus, I think, is better on the wing. So getting a Kane would be, I think he wouldn't mind it, I would say.
Maybe.
And that could be a situation where they do... Like, I forget which game it was, but it looked like a number 9 was missing on the field.
Yeah.
Just the chances that were dropping in the 6-yard box, and no one was really, poaching. So.
With that being said, they just put up one of the more dominant performances I've seen all season.
Like, very much so the most dominant.
Right. I mean, but we're talking about...
Do they need him? I think they do.
I think they do, especially if, when they play Liverpool and Chelsea again, they'll need him. Especially in Champions League when they're going to play some of these other teams, they're going to need a number 9. The
deeper you go, the more depth you can get is obviously huge.
Yeah.
It's like major key. But... like they do it where it's like I personally think they should get a number 9, but then they put up a 3-0 victory against Everton, and like I said, like it was the most
but I think
dominant game they've played all season.
So I think where they miss number 9 is if they play a team that's really setting up well, and it's like it's getting very difficult to break them down. I think one of City's issues is they run out of ideas. When they're doing against Everton, when they're doing all that stuff and they break through and they score, it's like great. We can just keep doing that because now they have to attack, they have to break down. If they get to the 60th minute and it's still 0-0 and then the 70th minute, they need someone like Aguero would do, where he would just find it in the box somehow.
Yeah.
I think that's them getting that's going to be the key to winning the title, especially against Chelsea and Liverpool, where it's like it's going to come down to the final game for all I could see it, and it's going to be like so tight.
Yeah.
And you need to look back. It's like a good thing we got those 2 extra points instead of tying.
Yeah.
Talking about playing against sides like Everton and being able to control the game and, pot one in, okay, we'll do it again. Another one, okay, we'll do it again. When you say they go up against a side that knows how to play structurally and can play well, I think right away about the PSG game in Champions League.
Yeah.
Early in the season during the group stage. Second game that they played in the group, they lost 2-0 to Man City. They lost 2-0 to PSG. That was Messi's first goal that he scored for PSG, that dirty curler that he had. That was probably the most frustrated I've seen City play since the Champions League final against Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Where even in that game against Chelsea, they were the dominant force. And then I can honestly say they probably should have won that game the way they played because they had a lot of chances to win. The game against PSG, they had chances here and there, but they never seemed to really threaten that much. And PSG never seemed to be too worried about them threatening them.
Yeah.
Like PSG were saying, okay, come on. Like, we have world-class defenders. Come on at us. They got Marquinhos. They got Sergio Ramos. I don't know if he was playing that game, actually. But they had solid players in the back. They were just saying, we're playing our way. We're going to sit back, come at us. We're going to defend the crap out of you, but we have the players to score.
Yeah.
Everton tried that today. It lasted until
the players to score.
Lasted until the 44th minute. They didn't have the players to score.
No. Or to defend.
And
yeah.
I would put Liverpool in that same boat.
Yeah.
Look how well structured Liverpool is. They have 11 goals against this season, which, I mean, it's not, in comparison to City and Chelsea, it's not great, but it's third best in the league. But they have 35 goals for.
Yeah.
I mean, they clearly have the players that can defend with, Van Dijk when he's healthy, Fabinho when he's healthy, and they have world-class players that can get you on the counterattack and score.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, they could also be the aggressor, and they could play against Man City and have 65% possession and put City on the back foot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it obviously all depends like who you go up against and how the manager plans to strategize against you. But a team like City, if they had a number 9, it just adds a whole different dynamic to the fold.
Yeah.
Because playing this false 9 style, it's all pass, work a give and go, try and score.
Yeah.
Number 9, you have head balls, you have target man, you have layoff, you can do all this stuff. You can use strength and power as opposed to like speed and agility, which is what they mostly try and do to score. Like you look at Sterling and Bernardo Silva, they're little, small, quick, agile players. Even Ferran Torres or Gabriel Jesus, they're not like a powerful, dominating player.
Yeah.
If they can get someone like that, like imagine them with like a Diego Costa or something.
Yeah.
Like I know that just came out of nowhere, but a player like that who can just beat the shit out of somebody if he wanted to, like he can back into Van Dijk, he can back into a player like Rudiger and like win a huge head ball over a guy that's like 6'2".
Yeah.
Like, that just adds a different dynamic to the team, and the way that City plays as well with like playing the wings and sending crosses in, they're sending a cross into like Raheem Sterling.
Yeah. And there was even a chance today where Foden like picked out Raheem Sterling. Yeah. Sterling he was like 6 yards away and it like put over the net. It's
even Foden had like he got a cross too that came to him that he like contorted his body and tried to like win it. If he was 4 inches taller, like a 6'2" person or something, or a 6'1" striker, that's really in the center of the forehead. That's in the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if Guardiola was really still keen on ideally playing a number 9, where if that was like his go-to, I think he would have still tried to keep Aguero, but he like last season he started shifting to this false 9 strategy, and that's where Aguero started kind of getting out of the team, and he started kind of getting old, and now he left. But speaking of Aguero, we do gotta kind of give a shout out to him because I guess he announced his retirement, or I mean, everyone's still like hoping he gets back because he has some like heart complications. I heard that today, and just hope he makes a recovery or just things get sorted out so he can play again, because kind of happened out of nowhere, and it's kind of a scare for him being at 33 with heart complications. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, hopefully gets back to playing for Barcelona because he's hardly played.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't play, just in general, just get healthy.
Yeah.
It's like the Christian Eriksen. Like, if you can't play, you can't play, but just get healthy.
Yeah. Just make sure you're okay. But yeah, I mean, obviously if they would have had, a player like Aguero in their system, then we would all say like, yeah, that's probably ideal. But for some reason, Guardiola just started shifting to this false nine. So I feel like if he didn't think that this would be the best system to play in football, then he wouldn't be playing it. And I feel like if he really wanted to play a number 9 and thought that was the best, he would have kept Aguero, and that's the system they would have played. But, he didn't. And I feel like if he really wanted a number 9, he would have got a number 9. I don't feel like he's playing a false 9 because it's his plan B, and they're playing this well.
I think it might be true on some level. I think he would be fine with playing a false 9. I think he's maybe just patient to wait to get a number 9 that he feels would actually add value. Like if he could pick up someone like Aguero, he probably would, just because they do add a different dynamic. Maybe ideally he would like Kane, but I don't think he's going to go out and just get like a number 9 that's decent because they won't really mesh in well with the system. So he's probably waiting maybe till January to see if like the right one comes up, so that if he feels like he has to shift that dynamic, because eventually the other teams will figure out how to play against his false 9 system at some point. So
are you saying that City is kind of like one-dimensional when they go forward?
I feel like I wouldn't say they're one-dimensional because they can play different ways, but I feel like on some level, if they've established, okay, we're playing a false 9 today, I feel like on some level they have a hard time shifting mid-game. Because I know De Bruyne came out and said it's like they spend a lot of time prepping for games, so they probably, I don't speak for Pep, but they probably adjust their playing style to counter whoever they're playing. Like some level, I guess on Man U they didn't even try to, but against like top teams, I think on some level they'll look at how they play. It's like, I think we should play this way. If it's not working, and that's where I come back to the number 9. If they decide it's like, hey, against PSG, we're gonna play a false 9. If it's not working, I feel like they would have a hard time adjusting to play with like, okay, let's play, 2 up front, or whatever it is. Especially if they don't have the option. So
yeah,
I've always thought it's interesting to watch when, let's just call like a top 4 side is playing against like a mid-table side, and they're down by 1 with like 10 minutes to go. It's just so funny to watch because they're still trying to do like complex passing plays when like they're playing 11 guys behind the ball.
Yeah,
like you can't break anybody down. Mm-hmm. If you want to see a team like snatch a game out of nowhere, watch like Southampton versus Newcastle or something, and like you'll see 2 goals in the last 95th minute, probably from like both sides.
Yeah,
I think it's so rare to actually see like a Man City or Liverpool or a Chelsea like even get like a last minute goal sometimes, because they just don't know how to win dirty.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That kind of goes to Joe's point. Like if they're getting broken down and they can't, like if they're getting like defended like crazy and they can't penetrate and they're trying to maybe change their strategy mid game, it just doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. And it's like they have to just like kind of forget everything that they know about tactics and just play dirty and just try and get a scrappy goal.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times like the good teams don't get that. And that's how we see some upsets sometimes. I know I've witnessed it a million times with Chelsea, where it's just like, come on, man, you're playing, I don't know, Stoke. Just score. Like you're so much better than this team. Like just send in a ball, send in a cross from like half. It might drop to you. It might fall to your feet. Put it in.
Yeah.
But they're still trying to like, weave passes in and out between like 4 players.
Yeah. Speaking of City with some non-tactical ticky-tacky goals, Rodri coming up with a banger.
If you can do that every time, then it'll really shut me up from saying how they're only one-dimensional.
But yeah, just ball drops to him, just rips one from, it must have been like 27 yards out.
30, at least maybe.
Pickford, just no real chance, just top corner.
Pickford made it look nice though.
He did full dive and save, both hands out, and just curled away from him.
Like if there's a still for that, you got to put it as your background on your computer or something.
Yeah,
Like a screen grab for that.
I thought it was really funny because in the first half, both commentators are saying how
Yeah, I
don't
heard
understand.
that.
I don't understand. They're saying this in a much better English accent than I'm saying right now. But they're like, yeah, Rodri, just outside the box, he always tries to make the pass. Just hit it. Literally.
10 minutes later, just rips one.
Just rips one. They even gave it to themselves. Like, yeah, here's us saying that he can't just shoot.
Like, what do we know, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, awesome goal by him. Just bears another one for him.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, I still think they're favorites to win. 78% possession, 853 passes, total control of the game. Really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think Everton had like 250 on passes or something like that.
Yeah, just not even close.
No, not even the same league.
Oh, and to even talk about like João Cancelo with the ball to Sterling on that half volley.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Goes to my point where when you're outside back can do that, like maybe Alexander Arnold can pull that off. But I feel like João Cancelo can do that like 10 times and I'll get it right like 7. So it just goes to show like you have players all over the field that can do things that like other players, best midfielders can't do. So that's why I still think they're favorites because they can pull anything from anywhere at any time.
Yeah. I think
good team.
Yeah, definitely good team.
Another good team, Liverpool. Just keeps rolling.
This was a weird game for me because I don't think Arsenal played bad.
No, they didn't. I agree. They didn't.
I look at the score and it's like that. Yes, but like especially the first half. Arsenal did not by any means get like swept the floor with or whatever. They really, even when they went down, they were still like showing some intensity. It wasn't until like the third and the fourth goal went in that it was kind of done. But like even after Jota scored, like they were still very much playing with some sort of belief that they could get something from the game. So yes, it was a bad, ended up being pretty, 4-0 scoreline. But, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I think I can take a lot of positives from the game.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked at length about how Arsenal started the season off so poorly and we thought they'd get relegated. But to make the climb that they've made, you got to give it to them. Mm-hmm. They've been grinding out games. They've been grinding out some wins. I think they beat Leicester. They beat Tottenham. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they, have got smoked by City and was another team that got lost. I think they lost to West Ham as well. But they're making the climb. They're making the push to the top 4. And it's, like Joe said, it is good to see them put some fight into it because they easily could have just, walked into Anfield and say, okay, we're playing Liverpool. We know we're not that good. Mm-hmm. Like, we know we can't compete with these guys. But to come out there and actually give it their all and actually have some quality chances and, just to show fight in the game, like, that's kind of all we expect sometimes. And I mean, I hate to just keep bashing on United, but that's what we just don't see from United. We don't see fight from them. Yeah. I mean, I think out of United, maybe McTominay and like Luke Shaw are like the only 2 players that I really see fight from. Like I really see them be aggressive. I see them wanting to win tackles. I see them trying to like, show some emotion in the game. Everyone else just kind of goes through the motions with them. Yeah. And I think Arsenal, with players, like I said, like Smith Rowe emerging as being as a new up-and-coming player, and same with Saka there, they want to prove themselves, and they have something to prove. And I think they just love the game, and I think they show it every time that they play. They step on the pitch, and they just want to give it their all. And yeah, like I said, going into this game, they probably knew that they weren't going to come away with a win. At least maybe they could squeak out a draw, but I mean, Aaron Ramsdale definitely showed up for this game too.
Oh yeah,
he's been crazy since he's been at Arsenal.
Yeah, like just he shows no fear when he comes out. He makes these saves that you wonder how he makes it. I just think about the Madison free kick.
Yeah, where everyone's saying it's like that's the save of like the century.
Yeah, everyone's saying it, and you look at it and you can't really argue because just everyone thought it was going in. And he just makes his way across the net, and he's literally full stretched. Horizontal, across the net and makes that save. And he had, plenty of other saves this game that were really good. So I'm just wondering, how soon till he takes Jordan Pickford's spot.
I think soon, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Pickford's not doing himself any favors.
No,
And,
he's not.
Like, when it comes to qualifying, yeah, I mean, they always get paired up against some sides that aren't the greatest. Like,
Yeah.
some of the countries that are trying to qualify that are, I don't know, like the Faroe Islands. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like, they're not going to put any competition up. So, I mean, like, from the international standpoint, his record's really good. But at Everton, like, I mean, he's not 19 goals against at Everton. I think he was hurt a couple of games this season too, so that's not all against him.
Mm-hmm.
But Arsenal 17 goals against. It's 2 better than Everton.
Yep.
And we've watched matches before that Arsenal's involved in, and even though the scoreline does say 4-0 or 3-1 in a loss, maybe, if not for Ramsdale, it could have been 7.
Yeah.
Could have been 5.
Absolutely.
Could have been 6.
Yeah.
So he makes some big impact saves. And in the game against Liverpool this weekend, some of the goals were tap-ins.
Yeah, like
Where like you literally have no chance on.
Yeah.
Like you could have put 3 Ramsdales in net,
Yeah.
maybe 4 Pickfords, and like still wouldn't have made the saves.
Right.
So I think, like obviously score lines and final results don't dictate exactly how the game went. Like even the City game, some of them are tap-in goals too.
Yeah.
Rodri's obviously was an
Not a
absolute
tap-in.
piss missile.
But still, no chance of saving that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Ramsdale saves that.
Maybe I don't know.
That'd be good to see.
He's pretty athletic, but
Yeah.
it doesn't dictate, like how the goals actually went in. It just says, 3 goals against. Well, they must have got smashed. Like Pickford's a bum, but that's not always the case.
Right.
Same with this game too. 4-0. Oh wow, Ramsden was out a stinker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It could have been 8.
Yeah. It's not for him.
So that was kind of like the bright spot for me, for Arsenal. When it comes to Liverpool's next matches, they got Porto in Champions League and Southampton on the weekend. Arsenal has Newcastle on Saturday. So some gettable games for them.
Mm-hmm.
I know Liverpool will probably prevail in the Champions League group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how crucial this Porto match is, to be honest. Let's check the group for them.
Yeah, I think they're
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're totally okay. They're 4-0. All right, so
Not crucial.
not crucial at all. They
12
already have
points.
first locked up.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a good chance to rest some players, get some young kids some playing time. Who's that guy? The player that got hurt for Liverpool.
Broke his leg.
Yeah, broke his leg. He's coming back.
Oh yeah.
That
must have been like a clean break or something.
crap. What's his name?
I forget.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
This
But yeah,
this is live podcasting, boys
it's
and girls.
it's good to see him back. But yeah, with them shirt up with I'm actually curious who they're gonna put out.
Harvey Elliott.
Yeah, Harvey Elliott.
Harvey Elliott. He had that nasty break.
Yeah. But yeah,
And
I'm curious
he's
who
coming
they're
back
gonna
now.
put out against Porto. Seeing as they have everything like pretty shirt up. Yeah, I always wonder what you want to do as a manager there. You have especially because you got Southampton on Saturday. No disrespect to them, but it's not you're not playing a top side. So I'm curious whether he goes the route of still playing his top players just to get Champions League minutes. Just because they really want to, obviously prioritize Champions League.
I mean, to be honest, at this stage, if I'm a manager, I would say 95% of the time you're just putting out a second team. If you have first short up, I think rest is more important, especially for like your starting 11. Like Van Dijk doesn't need more Champions League minutes; he needs like rest. To be honest,
well, yeah, I don't mean I don't mean minutes in terms of just getting experience in minutes. I just mean kind of staying engaged in the competition.
mm-hmm.
If that makes sense, because I do think that plays a factor sometimes. But I'm not a manager. I'm not Klopp, so I'm sure he's gonna do what he thinks is best, which is gonna be the right decision.
Breaking news: Santo is not Klopp.
I don't have the glasses.
and the weird teeth.
The weird teeth.
Well, actually, I don't have. He doesn't have the glasses because he got laser eye surgery. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
It looks weird to see him now with no glasses.
I know he needs the glasses. He should just
I
wear
know.
them. Just get specs that aren't prescription. And
See,
just wear them.
these glasses have no lenses in them. I just try and look smart.
Mm.
Just kidding. Yeah, most people wear glasses and they don't look intimidating. He looks intimidating with glasses on.
Yes, he
'Cause
does.
I think his eyes get bigger.
Yeah.
Like he gets
And then
official
his-
on the
He's
sideline.
like crooked smile.
It's like jaws all crooked and shit, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's a scary individual. He's really tall. He's like 6'4", I think. He's a
You
big,
know-
he's a big dude.
I saw the picture online of because him and Arteta were just yelling at each other during
Yeah.
the game. I just saw an image and it was at the back of Arteta. So it showed Arteta's back with like the fourth ref, holding them apart with I think some supporting staff around there, and then it showed Klopp towering over everyone with
Oh,
this
he's
just
giant.
mean just yell going at Arteta. I'm like, that's scary.
Yeah, that was kind of an odd thing. Arteta just like
Encounter, yeah.
just losing it on Klopp and then Klopp losing it. That was
Yeah.
funny.
But like a guy as intimidating, kind of like scary to us as Klopp is, he's like apparently the sweetest guy, and like the
Yeah.
players love him.
Yeah,
Like
no,
he makes it his mission to like give a player a hug, like every player on that comes on and off the field, like for a substitution, and then at the end of the game, he hugs every single player that comes off the pitch. Like he makes it his mission. I always watch like after the game, the camera follows him around and stuff. He'll go to the supporters and like put his hands up and clap for the supporters and like get them all rallied up and stuff, and he'll make it his mission to like find Mo Salah, find Mane, find Allison, give him a hug. So I think again he's a player who can just really manage the team
yeah.
and manage personalities, and obviously he's done a kick-ass job since he's been there.
Oh yeah.
Um,
That's what you want to see, right? Like you love those managers that love the club.
yeah,
It's awesome to see.
and it's like why would this like random German guy that's had like minimal playing success, who's been coaching in the German league and played the coach for Dortmund, why would he give a shit about Liverpool? But like as soon as he's been there, he's embraced the entire club and like what it means to be like a Liverpool player.
Yeah.
Or Liverpool
It's,
supporter.
like I can't even remember pre-Klopp. It's just like it feels like it's like the perfect club, which on some level, it'd be it like I've been thinking about this, like what happened, like who leaves first, like Guardiola or Klopp? Like I think for sure Guardiola.
Yep.
I could see Klopp like being at Liverpool for like a long time.
Yeah, I
like a
agree.
really long time. I'm not sure if he has the same mindset as Pep. It's like, oh, I want to go like here and like win with this team. Like I think he's just like, really romantic about Liverpool.
That's what I like, man. Like just a manager that's romantic about the club, who's really good, because that's what leads to like long-term success, right?
Big time.
It's like that's how you get the next Sir Alex Ferguson. Because I'm still waiting. Obviously it's going to be forever because Sir Alex Ferguson was forever. So just seeing a manager that's at a club for a very long time, not just like putting in your 5 years and then see you later. I want to go win somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like obviously we love to see that, but to have a manager have that success is one thing, but to have people have admiration for him, that's another thing too. And I mean, like out of just the top four right now, like he said, like Guardiola probably gone maybe within a year. Like I think there's talks of him trying to join maybe the Spanish national team next season. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Maybe Xavi shits the bed at Barcelona too. He goes back to Barcelona and tries to rebuild that team. Who knows? But I mean, as from the other top four, I mean, David Moyes will probably be there for a while.
West Ham's gonna hold on to David Moyes as long as they like.
Klopp will probably be there for a while, like we just said. Tuchel, I mean, Tuchel's leash is as short as Abramovich wants it to be.
Yeah,
like
that's
he could be super successful this year. Coming off a Champions League win was obviously massive. But
if they stay in fifth long enough.
That's Abramovich wants titles though, and he wants Premier Leagues. I know, like obviously he was psyched like when they won Champions League. He went to the game and everything, and he celebrated the team afterwards. But I think he looks at Premier League success as like the big ticket because it's the hardest thing to win, right? And I think he prides himself on winning Premier League titles over Champions League titles. So if Tuchel can perform and keep that standard alive that Abramovich upholds, I think he'll be here for a long time. But he could finish third one year and he's gone.
Yeah,
like it's that cutthroat sometimes, and I don't like that.
Like, oh yeah, we can
you
start
can't
a rant on this.
You can't expect success every single year.
Yeah.
Like that's not a sustainable way to look at anything.
Yeah.
And from any sport franchise in the world,
Yeah.
And out of all like the major North American sports, out of obviously football and then in Europe, you have to be there with your club in the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time you learn more from being unsuccessful than you do from being successful.
Yeah.
You learn from mistakes. You learn how to come back the next year stronger, better, faster, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you just have success all the time and then you do hit that first stint of like a negative spell, sometimes you get stuck and you can't get out of it. It's kind of like what happened with United. They had all this long-term success with Sir Alex Ferguson for 20 plus years, 25 years. He leaves. Great. Congratulations. You had an amazing life at our club. Thank you so much. He leaves and then just ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Because now you're facing adversity. And I think they're just going to have to find someone to
go through it, right?
It's like the Phoenix from Harry Potter, like rise from the ashes, someone come out there and be better. Who that guy's going to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk to Brendan Rodgers even leaving Leicester.
I know, and some people are
So
so
United.
mad. It's like, what's the difference between Ole and Brendan Rodgers? I mean, it's a little bit of a step up, but like tough.
More Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't say success, but more Premier League experience.
I mean, he'll help you get in the top 4, maybe, but like, you need Carlo Ancelotti to come to Man U to win the you know what
Really,
I mean? That's what you need right now.
But yeah, going back to what you said, because I could go on a rant for this for a while, because even at the Tottenham game, you had the fans booing at half because they were down 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on. Like, Conte just got here.
Literally just showed up.
Like, literally just showed up.
First home game.
Yeah, and you're going to start booing your team. It's like, I really want, and this isn't to like be crude or whatever, it's just kind of something I'm observing. Like, you have to have patience with your team. I mean, if you're paying to come watch your team play and you're booing the players that you have your names on the back of the jersey you're wearing. So if you're really supporting your team, you like actually have to support your team. I think going in with expectations of always being successful is a recipe for you being disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
So you really just have to go through and support your team through the highs and lows, because booing your team off at half for sure is not going to like fix anything. Especially when you have a manager who just got there. Like you got to support your manager, you got to support him over the results, because that's what's going to give you success long term. So I really didn't like that. I was pumped when he came back and won, because everyone's pumped after that they come back and win. I just really want to see fans and ownership, really start backing their teams, for long term success, because this whole thing about
like new manager comes in, I want to win the title.
Yeah, like
what's Conte gonna do?
He's come out and said publicly, like, that's not going to happen. The commentator said that today in the match.
Yeah,
Conte made it public, like, I'm not coming here and we're going to like turn shit around and win the league this year.
Yeah.
But I remember one of the commentators said, I think it might have been like Owen Hargraves or something, or somebody, maybe Alan Shearer, at the end of the match, said that they're very confident that Tottenham will win a trophy this year, whether it be Carabao Cup or this UEFA Confederations. What is it? You guys see that?
I have no idea.
Just something else.
UEFA. It's like a third-party Europa League something. I don't know.
Okay.
But he's confident they'll win a trophy this year, in one of those cups. I don't know if that's going to be true. Maybe this Europa League thing. I looked at the teams that are involved, and like I don't know where the hell these teams are from.
Yeah.
Like there's teams from like Slovenia and like Liechtenstein's got a team in there or something. I don't know. But maybe they can pull off a trophy there, but it's all results based, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you would love it if like, the league was made of rainbows and butterflies and the manager and the club can get along, but like they're not friends.
No, I know, but
like, it's literally a business. Like it's your employer. Like if you're performing like shit, you're gone.
No, but I guess it's like what they qualify as poor performance, I think is really skewed. Like Nuno, for example, like sure, if he wasn't there
he had a bad run. I mean, like not on his own merit. Like he got shit on. Like he got screwed.
And that's what I mean. Job. Like you just hired someone and you're going to fire them after 10 games of being in charge when you didn't get the results you wanted. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like
got it's because I can say with a fair amount of confidence that if Conte lost like 4 games in a row at any point in the season, there would be like talks of him being let go, which is something that I really don't like seeing because he literally just brought him in and he basically has to collect everything that's been done at this club that he has to fix and then turn it around. Otherwise, like, because what's going to happen when you fire him? You're going to find someone else that's going to give you like a magic wand. Like,
yeah,
there's so many factors that go into winning games, and thinking that like how well a manager's going to do long term based on how well he does right when he shows up. There's so many factors that happen. Be like, oh, he's a great coach. We've won 5 in a row. Like it might not only be because
that's
of him.
5 games.
Yeah.
Like 38.
It's 5 games, and it might not be because he's like a really good or really bad manager. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So, just some long-term commitment. Obviously, there's not a magic number. It's case by case, but I feel like it's way too. It really leans on the way too early side. Except in the case for Man U. That was more on the longer side, maybe.
Yeah, I know. Like, we said that like teams and managers get a bad rep for like letting them go too soon. Ole overstayed.
Yeah,
a long time.
The writing was in the weeds, whatever the saying is, for like a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he should have been gone, before November.
Right.
Like before the latest international break.
Yeah.
Like why? Like they just had a national break. They came back, 4-1 loss against Watford. Get it done before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly, like give your team some time, like before the break started is when they lost against Man City.
Yeah.
And before that they tied against Atalanta like on a squeaker of a game. But like they should have let him go right after that Man City game. I told you that like if they put out a bad performance against Man City, I could see him gone right before the international break. Perfect time. Make it an easy transition.
Mm-hmm.
Watford.
Yeah.
Like who would have thought that was going to be the team that, that breaks it for Ole.
They could literally lose their next 3 games. Even Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, baby.
Crystal Palace, yeah.
Yeah. Villarreal, Chelsea, Arsenal. Arsenal's going to hand it to Man U, I bet you, for sure.
I mean, I think
surprised.
I think the whole supporter issue, I think, might be a little harsher than the ownership one, because you got to let go of a manager. Like, I still think it's early, but still, like, you got to do what you got to do. But the supporter thing, like, you're there supporting your club, like booing a new manager, like right away, like that I really don't understand, because supporters have so much influence for how well your team can play. If you're a club, especially, I think of Leeds, when your supporters are like behind you 100%, I think it shows a lot. So I just want to see, I think, more backing from the supporters, even when their team's not doing well.
Was the booing actually directed at Conte, or was it towards the players?
Well, maybe towards the players, maybe towards Conte, maybe both, but still, like,
because I mean, from the player standpoint, like, they don't have a right to be booed. Like, I don't think anyone has a right to be booed unless like you're Ole. But if you're not performing that well, like that's the only way that the fans can really show their frustration. And the fans are the lifeblood of the club, right? That's why you're there as a player.
Yeah,
you're there for the fans. Like if there was no fans in the stadium, there's no players on the field.
Oh, I agree. But I mean, like
that's like those are the ones who invest the money into the team, sponsors and like boosters and just filling the stadium.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the only way to show their frustration. And in Tottenham's case, like they did play like crap first half.
Oh yeah,
like they're like Leeds definitely should have. They deserved their goal to go up 1-0 at halftime.
Oh, they did 100%. I just don't think the players, like, you're losing at halftime at home against Leeds. Like, I know we sucked. Like,
yeah. Okay, I get it.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's like an added insult.
You don't need
the
fans to tell you that we have to turn around the
like if I'm playing like pretty bad, I don't need someone from the sideline saying like, "Oh, you're playing really bad." Like
Thanks,
like
guys.
this is my profession. I know how bad we're playing. It's getting support from your fans. it makes you like you still know you played bad if you're not getting stick from the fans.
Yeah.
Getting support from the fans, like, hey, we got to play for these fans because they're backing our team. You know, you still get that feeling, I think, when your fans show support versus booing. You know, you're still going to come out and know you have to improve. I just don't think the booing.
It's just
really
weird.
does
Like
anything.
it just goes to show, like a club like Tottenham wants a new manager to come in and like rocket off the runway and win like 5 games in a row and qualify for Champions League and get that short up. It's like, no, it's like you're Tottenham. You're Tottenham.
That's a good point. So you haven't won anything.
Yeah,
Like
just
who are you?
the expectations just add to the fire, and it's just not helpful in any way whatsoever. And I get it's tough, like, but you know, on some level, going to Santos' point, like there's no long term benefit to, especially even with Nuno. Like it was a bad appointment to start with, but like, what did success even look like with Nuno coming in? You know, it was so like I don't even think they were in any worse of a spot than the one Jose left them in. So it's like, what was he supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why with Nuno, the bar wasn't high with him, but he's still under. Well, it wasn't even him. The players just underachieved, underperformed.
Yeah.
Going into this game, they had 9 goals for. Mo Salah has 11 this year on his own.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like they. And I'll say it again. Like, that's not based on the manager.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is why we say it's the hardest gig in the world, because there's just, like we said before, there's so many factors that go on in the game where, like, one bounce goes the wrong way, it goes off the post and doesn't kick in, and these are just negatives against your performance, and the manager's the one that leaves.
Yeah.
It's like he had no control over that.
No.
And I personally think, and this is just like adding insult to the Tottenham, I think the players right now are playing well in spite of Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I sat down, I watched majority of this game today, and I had just an extra attention on Kane. Man, I know he just came off international break. He did score some goals for England.
Yeah.
And I was going to try and make a joke saying like he can only score when he's in a white shirt, but
Yeah.
Spurs is the same kit basically as England.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't play.
Yeah.
He can't play with this team. It's like he's, Superman, like Clark Kent one day and Superman the other day. When he's back at Spurs, he can't play.
Yeah.
He was losing the ball on his feet. He was being indecisive. He was turning the ball over. There was a chance like late in the game, I think it was like the 70-something minute. They were already up 2-1 at this point. And like Leeds was putting pressure on, they're trying to counterattack. I think it was like a 3-on-1. And he carried the ball past half, and he literally like didn't know what to do with the ball.
Yeah.
Like he could have taken it on his own because the defender was taken wide by Son or someone who else made a run. He could have dished it off to either two players. He kept the ball on his feet. He got the ball caught up in himself. He ran over the ball and then turned it over, and like they Leeds came back the other way on like a 3-on-1.
Yeah.
Like, he's just so indecisive, and I think we've all been there. Like I've had times before where I'm like, I don't even know what a soccer ball is.
Yeah.
Like I have it on my feet, and it's like I'm trying to play soccer with a golf ball.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't work. And I think he's going through this right now. His spell is lasting a lot longer than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Because it's basically been happening since game 1 of the season.
Yeah.
And I literally think the players are rallying around him in spite of him. And I think, like a player like Højbjerg stepping up today.
Yeah.
Huge goal.
Very big goal for him.
Sergio Reguilon making his first goal for
First
Tottenham.
goal
yeah.
ever.
It's huge for him.
I mean, he didn't really do much on it, just rebound, and it kind of fell to him nicely. But Kane, man, like he was my pick for Golden Boot winner. He's making me look like an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what I'm talking about, but still.
That would have probably been contingent on him going to City.
I said no. You made that exact point, and I was like, nah, he's good. And this is when Nuno was still there.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Nuno get the best.
I mean, I said Tottenham was the team to watch with Nuno there, and that did not work out at all.
What the hell do we know what we're talking about?
Yeah. But even when this whole Kane situation came out, and then he decided to stay, it's like there's no way. I mean, I don't even know who would want to pick it. Like, I don't think City's looking. It's like, oh, we need this guy now. It's like if they're going to go after Tottenham player, they might as well go for Son rather than Kane at this point.
Right.
They have 4 Sons on their team though.
Yeah,
Like they have 4 Sons on. Like, they already have 4 Sons on City.
that's true. Yeah, I mean he is.
Like the one hole in City's lineup,
Yeah,
if there is a hole, like we said, is like a pure
is a Kane
big
when
old
he's
body.
good. Yeah,
Like, imagine they get like a Lewandowski from Bayern.
that's what I mean. That's
That'd
exactly.
be sick.
They need someone, if they can get someone like that who also, I mean, Aguero was like like he was like a Lewandowski, but also
Which is weird
dribbler.
because he's like he's not your typical stature of like a
no.
a
He
number
was
9.
He was
they
the best
need
number 9.
a number 9. They need is a Lewandowski who can actually dribble and see a pass well, like at the same time. And there's very few of those besides like Aguero.
Was
And-
Lewandowski there when Pep was there?
Yeah,
He was.
he was.
Yeah.
So did he bring him there from Dortmund?
I don't.
I can't
recall.
remember.
He might have.
That'd be tough to maybe
Yeah.
find that one.
He might have.
Because like what a signing
Yeah,
that guy would be.
that was huge. You know, I still remember Lewandowski at Dortmund killing it. I was like, oh, he's going to make his big move to Bayern. And, you know, especially with those big moves kind of just overshadowing the player, but did not for Lewandowski. I mean,
Yeah.
he just brought it to another level.
Yeah, he came there in 2014, so I'm pretty sure Pep was already there at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. Pep did coach Lewandowski.
Well, he did. I'm just wondering if...
I don't know if he brought
Yeah,
him there.
until 2016.
Yeah.
So he did bring him there. Yeah, so Pep signed there in 2013. Lewandowski showed up 2014, so the year later, and then Pep left for Barcelona in 2016.
Yeah.
Or no, yeah. Did he go to Barca in 2016, or was he already at Barca?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'd have to go to the timeline there. Okay, Bayern 2013 to 2016,
Whoop, wrong one.
and
So Barca first. Okay, there we go. Barca first, and then Bayern, and then Man
Yeah.
City in 2016.
yes.
Like, what a coaching record. He went from the Barcelona B squad for one season, then he gets like the main gig
yeah,
with like arguably the best team ever assembled.
yeah,
And then he goes to just the best German team ever assembled, and then makes his mark with Man City and becomes one of the best English Premier League squads ever assembled just 2 seasons later.
yeah. And to credit, I mean, you know, obviously he had a lot of work to do at Barcelona and Bayern, but with Man City,
Did he?
Well, Barcelona maybe not as much.
Yeah.
Bayern maybe a little bit. Man City was, you know, it was really different, I think, because he was coming into a team that did not, I think, probably the furthest from playing Barcelona style. He comes to this team, you know, doesn't really do well at all his first season. And this
No.
is what I was pumped about. You know, I even saw it in the All or Nothing show with City, you know, the chairman there talking how, yeah, it was difficult for Guardiola, but they believed in him, and, you know, they kept him around knowing that he would turn the team around, and then he just like transforms the English game completely, playing like no English side has ever played before, and, you know, still waiting for that Champions League title, which I think is only one of the very few things I've actually cared about an England team winning, just because I think of everyone, he deserves it. So I hope that he can pull out a Champions League win before his time at City's done.
Yeah, that's like the one thing they're missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his move to Man City was, I'm not going to say it was like a rebuilding stage, because they have one before with
I know.
I should know too.
Yeah, the epic win with QPR.
Yeah, with
dying the most epic Premier League title.
Joe, come save us.
Pellegrini?
Just read.
Pellegrini? No, not Pellegrini.
Mancini was coaching. them.
Mancini.
Oh, Mancini.
Sweet
Yeah.
Jesus. So it wasn't I wouldn't say the Man City, Pep to Man City was not like a rebuilding stage of Man City, but they had to like recreate themselves,
Yeah.
re-identify themselves,
Right.
because when Mancini left, and was it Pellegrini that was there?
Pellegrini, I'm pretty sure, came after Mancini.
Okay, yeah. So Mancini won, and then he left. Then Pellegrini came in.
Well, I don't think Mancini left. I think they let him go because
He went to go coach the national side,
He,
the
um,
Italian national team.
I don't think it was that early. I think he was just butting heads with a lot of players.
I can see that too.
I guess it was like a nightmare for him. He was just not like, you didn't get along with a lot of people there.
It's funny to say that, because I remember seeing somewhere that like like Balotelli, Mancini was the reason Balotelli came to Man City.
Yeah, Mancini is probably the only person that can manage Balotelli.
Well, Balotelli looked up to him as like a father figure.
Yeah.
Like he's there for a long time because Mancini was also the guy that gave him his opportunity at Inter.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I love Balotelli. Like I know he had like such a bad rep.
Yeah.
Or bad rap, I should say. And people were shitting on him and like saying all these things against him, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I don't know. He was there, like, 8 seasons ago, whatever it was. He was just like a breath of fresh air for the team, and like there was not many Italian players that were like high profile at the time either. Because even like the Italian squad was like through a huge rebuilding stage. Like we said in the beginning of the podcast, we missed an entire World Cup. We got knocked out by freaking New Zealand and whoever else that was in that tournament. That's a forgetful one. I don't even want to look back at it.
That was bad.
So like we were kind of like in a dark age, and then out emerges this like superstar player that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yep.
And he had like that crazy game against Germany in the Euro Cup. Made it all the way to the final against Spain. Don't want to talk about that one either.
No.
But when he went to City, like I'm a Chelsea fan through and through. I bought a Balotelli Man City jersey, and it's the only like rival jersey I have. Like I don't have any Milan jerseys. I don't have any Inter jerseys. I have Juve, I have Chelsea, and I got Man City Balotelli.
Yeah, it's just out there on its own.
And I think Mancini like was a father figure to him, and he even to this day I think they still like talk pretty frequently. It'd be great if Balotelli would get like a call up to the national side.
Yeah.
Right now they kind of might need him.
Yeah, they do.
But he's just kind of like drifted off into like nothing right now, eh?
I think he plays in Hungary right now. I'm not
Is
sure.
he?
I think so.
I know he went back to Brescia. He made his career start at Brescia. That's like his hometown.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Brescia.
Like he was at Nice in France.
Yeah.
For a while. Palermo is where he started, but I know he's at
I've
Brescia
done
for a
a
while.
different sport that is probably
It's probably Turkish.
yeah, it is Turkey.
Turkey, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Turkey.
So he's playing for a Turkish side now. I mean, is he playing? I don't know. I haven't kept tabs on him. He's 31 years old now, which is kind of crazy. Well, it's our age.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right, but yeah, 10 appearances, 5 goals for them.
There we go, yeah.
So yeah, he's
even
just been
think of
hopping around. Had a little stint at Nice.
33 goals and 61 appearances is not bad. In the French league, like when you're not playing for a top side.
Not on PSG.
Yeah. That's the thing. He still scored.
Yeah.
Like you look at his track record right now, he averages almost a goal every other game for the most part.
Yeah, really. Yeah, we'll see if he gets a call to the Italy team because Immobile will continue to
frustrate me.
He'll perform really well in the Serie A, and then he gets to the national team, and it's just like
that's where the four ties come from. It's like you needed a number 9 to get you out of a draw, and it's just like not there.
Okay, guys, fine. I'll do it. I'll go play.
Okay, I'll go play finally. Italian national. The guy we need.
I've been waiting for this opportunity for so long.
Andrew Oreo.
No, I mean Balotelli hasn't played for the national side in 3 years, and like I said, right now would be a time more than ever to take him. But that's where the politics come into play, right? Like I remember like years ago, maybe like 6 years ago, when we were still trying to qualify for tournaments, like through playoff stages, kind of like what we're the same boat we're in now. Jovinko was lighting it up for TFC, and he was just he was killing it. He was like MVP. I know they have that like they called the MVP Player of the Year in MLS. He was scoring like 30 goals, playing unreal. But I think it was Mancini at the time still.
Oh, it was Conte.
Oh, was it Conte?
Yeah, it was Conte.
So Conte, he was like, no, like that league is like too low for me. Like that league is not competitive enough. He's out there having fun, like on vacation, basically, is what he said. And he's like, I'm not taking a player who's not playing in the best leagues possible. When he was the most informed Italian player, basically, that we had. And he didn't get a call up.
Yeah. And then we didn't qualify for the World Cup.
And we didn't qualify for the World Cup.
It's like obviously not ideal.
Yeah, that choice did not work out.
And just like in the defense of MLS and everything, obviously, yeah, it's not the Premier League. It's not Serie A. I wouldn't even put it in like the league of the the Portuguese league.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even stack it up that high. But I remember there was another quote that Pirlo made, and Pirlo said like he kind of thought the same thing. He was going to come here. He played for New York City FC, and he's like, I'm going to come here, do my farewell tour, like play a season or two. But when he showed up, he's like, these guys are legit. Like he was practicing like 5 times a week, whatever it was, 2-a-days, working hard. I mean, he probably didn't do 2-a-days all the time, because he's Pirlo. But he was saying like how hard it was, how competitive it was. The players in competition were like actually very, like really surprising to him. And so he kind of hyped the MLS up a little bit, and we see now like there's so many players that play in CONCACAF, like Mexico, like Ramirez, the guy that scored for Wolves this weekend. He was just playing in the game against Canada like midweek, comes back and scores against West Ham and gives them the 1-0 victory. So like the competition's there. MLS is here. I mean, like we have players from El Salvador, Mexico, Canada, US. It's kind of nice to see that a lot of the Canadian players and US players are now like getting more European exposure. And it's not just based in like, domestically. But it's a competitive league now, and it's nice to see it finally getting some respect. It's really good, and hopefully in time to come that it actually gives a good opportunity for everyone here in North America to actually make it pro, more so because now you just got to like go to Europe and hope for the best. So it's good to see it grow more and more. Have you guys gone to an MLS game before?
No. It's on the list to
I've only
to get there, so we'll have to soon enough.
I remember it was like it's had to be over 10 years ago, maybe 2007, maybe 2008. I went to my first MLS game. It was Columbus Crew versus LA Galaxy. I went to Columbus, Ohio to watch the game, and it's when Beckham was playing for LA Galaxy. So like I was super excited to see it. And of course, like he set out that game. Like he was there. I think I saw him like sitting on the bench. I was like, oh my God, there's Beckham. But when I watched the game, mind you, this is 2007 MLS. God, it was brutal. Like I was watching these guys and I was like, this is professional soccer. Like that, like because I'm so accustomed, right, to watching Chelsea every Saturday. Watching Arsenal with like Henry play. That's what I was accustomed to watching. Del Piero for Juve. I'm like, this is professional soccer. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, first touches that were going 5 feet away. Like, a guy just lets the ball roll under his foot and goes out of bounds. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. Fast forward, I've been lucky enough to go to the 2 MLS finals that TFC has been involved in. Toronto FC. First one not so successful against the Seattle Sounders. Next year, went to the rematch basically of the MLS Cup final. Huge win, 2-0. It was fun. I mean, it was freezing cold. I remember the first final was like it was like -20. It was really, really bad. It was freezing out there. Because they played in December. And then the second game that they actually they won, I think it was like -10. Which is still pretty cold, but a little more bearable. Especially when you have a couple of drinks in you. It was nice. But no, it was cool. It was fun to finally witness like the growth of the game, basically. Like the 10-year difference from 2007 to 2017 when they won. That 10-year growth between for the league, huge. And it's really, like I said, it's really starting to show now, like how competitive and how good the league can be.
That's awesome.
Just look ahead to next week. Actually, we have a lot of Champions League matches this week. For top English sides. United playing against Villarreal Tuesday, and they have a huge win against Chelsea on Sunday.
It's gonna be a tough week for them.
I mean, I can look at loss for those 2 games. To be
honest.
For Chelsea, they have Juve on Tuesday. Rematch, try and get redemption from losing 1-0 earlier in the competition. And then, of course, they have Sunday against United. Liverpool, Porto Wednesday, Southampton on Saturday. 2 gettable games. Like we said, they might rest some players on Wednesday, we think.
I think so. I could see a pure second team going out against Porto.
It was Santo's argument before. I could see Klopp keeping some players in the squad just to have consistency going if there's guys that are playing well. Like I don't know. Like I doubt I would see Salah, Mane, and like Firmino all on the bench. Like I'm sure one of those three guys would probably play.
Yeah.
But I know like Milner's been in and out of the side a little bit, so he'll probably get a crack at it. Naby Keita's coming off injury. I think he's healthy now, so maybe he'll get some minutes that game. So there'll still be quality, like starting 11 players that we might see in the side, just to try and get them back in the mix a little bit. And then for a City standpoint, they got that huge game against PSG, another redemption tour, coming off a loss in match week 2 of Champions League. Let's see where they're sitting at in their table.
They're sitting top of their group right now.
Are they as well?
Yeah, they got. They still got. It's 9 and 8, 9 points for Man City, 8 points for PSG. So still some work to do. I think if they want to finish first, but I think it's just going to be a 2-horse race because Club Brugge and RB Leipzig are just out of it, I think, at this point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're still going to be competitive. That's not in Man City's nature to not try and go for the win. I guess a side like PSG, obviously, they have to stack up pretty well. So yeah, I'm sure they'll go out there with the quality side still, try and keep momentum going. And they have West Ham on Sunday. So, I mean, it'd probably be good to see a positive result this week, hopefully, and then just keep that momentum for the West Ham game.
Yeah.
If they were playing a side like Newcastle, then I could see them maybe resting guys here and then just like play their starting 11 again on Sunday. But because it's such a big game against West Ham, I could see them, playing their top players on both sides or both games there.
Yeah.
And then Spurs. Spurs have Burnley on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully Conte can get another win. Get the good run to continue with Tottenham.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for him there.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see him do well. I like him as a coach. He's very passionate. I see on the sideline he was like running down up and down the sidelines today on the bench when they scored. I love seeing that passion in the game.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully Newcastle can get a relegation. That'd be good.
But they are going to get a relegation.
They're last, no wins, and 5 points out.
I don't care.
They're going to be the most expensive team, and they're going to be in league or championship.
I said I only have Chelsea jerseys, only have Juve jerseys, one Balotelli. I will buy a Newcastle jersey if they get out of relegation. Because I put my money on it like weeks ago when new management came in. When Eddie Howe got appointed manager, I said that Newcastle will come out of relegation come the end of the season.
All right.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Might be a knockoff, but I'll buy a Newcastle jersey.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just buy like a referee jersey. And I'll just say it's Newcastle.
Okay.
You heard it here on Footy Fans. Andrew will buy a Newcastle jersey.
I'm doing it. Seal the fate of my bank account.
Yep.
We good, boys?
We're good.
Good.
All right. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. If you guys want to follow us on Twitter, we are at @footy_fans, PHANS. Again, you can find us on Instagram, search Footy Fans Podcast, and you can find us on YouTube also at Footy Fans Podcast. That's a wrap. We will catch up next week after all of the week's action.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.